This video is all about when to press the clutch down. I've mentioned it in other videos before, but it's a common sticking point for most learners, so I thought it deserved a video on its own. Right, now I'm going to try and attempt to explain why you need a clutch. You have an engine, diesel or petrol, doesn't matter, they're flawed. And one of the major flaws of a petrol or diesel engine is it cannot spin slowly. The slowest it can spin is about 12 times a second thereabouts, which is pretty damn fast. If you were to hook that up directly to your wheel would spin fast enough that you'd be doing 45 miles an hour. So a way around this is to have a clutch. This finger represents the engine and this finger represents the wheels. When the clutch is up, they are together. So when the engine spins, the wheels spin. When the clutch is down, they are disconnected. That allows the engine to spin at whatever speed it needs to, whilst you stop the wheels. If you were to stop the engine and the wheels at the same time with the brake, that would be a stall. So pushing the clutch down allows you to stop the wheels whilst allowing that engine to spin at that rapid speed it needs to in order for it to run smoothly. So how do you know when your engine is at its minimum speed and you need to press the clutch down? There's an easy way to find out. Switch your engine on and see what engine speed it ticks over at. Tick over or idle is its minimum speed it spins at when it's running and you have no gas. So I'm going to turn the engine on. Currently it's at 0. When I switch it on, it will fire into life and it will settle in this car around about 700 RPM. So I know that when I'm driving, I cannot force the engine to go less than 700 RPM because it will stall if I do so. Therefore, if I want to go less than 700 RPM, I have to press the clutch down. Most cars are somewhere between 500 and 1000. A big engine, for example, a V8 big engine may rev as low as 500 RPM, and a smaller 3-cylinder engine will probably need to rev closer to 900 or even 1000. But switch your engine on and see where it idles at to know when you need to press the clutch down. What if you don't have a rev counter or tachometer, tacho? Then you have to do it by sound. And basically, when the engine gets really quiet, that normally means you're at its minimum speed. But all engines are different, and some are loud when they're idling, some are quiet or silent when they're idling, which is why a rev counter is so essential in you getting the most out of your engine, or you're using your ears to guess. And if you're not an experienced driver and you don't know what sort of sounds an engine makes, it's going to be very hard work for you to get the most out of your engine. Oh, I have an idea. Why not just press the clutch down every time I go to slow down to make sure I don't stall? This is actually a tactic most people I teach do at some point in their training. They start pressing the clutch down every time they see a problem, a hazard, traffic lights. They just need to slow down a little bit, or the possibility of slowing down sometimes causes them to press the clutch down. Now, although that will stop you from stalling, success, it won't help you drive smoothly. And every time you press the clutch down, it means you're going to have to bring it back up again. So you may see a problem, push the clutch down and think, oh, actually, that's not a problem at all. Oh, I've got to bring the clutch back up again, which means you've got to bring it to the bite point. That will probably slow you down a little bit, or you've got a rev match with the gas. It's a palaver, and downhill, it can be actually a little bit dangerous. Here are some demonstrations. So here we go, we're driving along at 24 miles an hour. Oh, I see a white car ahead, a hazard, clutch down. Actually, I can go past that. All right, clutch to the bite point again. There we go, off the clutch. Now I can carry on. Oh, person at the side of the road might cross, clutch down. Nope, they're not crossing. Okay, I've got to bring the clutch back up again. Where's the bite point? There it is, a little bit of gas to help it. Okay, carry on. Oh, parked car, I need to slow down for that, clutch down. Braking a little bit for the parked car. Go around the parked car, bringing the clutch back up. Didn't need to change gear, just had to bring the clutch back up again. You get the point. Pressing the clutch down every time you see a problem didn't help. On all those occasions, I didn't need to press the clutch down, so I didn't need to lift it back up again. Caused myself a lot more work, and if you weren't that great with your clutch control, you'd be quite jerky at that stage as well. I suppose you could say one benefit is you get plenty of practice finding the bite point. That is actually a truthful advantage, but there is something else that makes pressing the clutch down a little less safe. So at the moment, I'm going relatively slowly downhill in first gear, and the engine's keeping me about 11 miles an hour. I'm going to press the clutch down now, and the car starts to speed up. That's not good. That is why, or another reason why, you don't want to press the clutch down every time you see a problem. Let's think about it now. If you're in a habit of pressing the clutch down every time you see a problem, the first thing you're going to do when you see a hazard is clutch down, and downhill you're going to speed up. So the first thing you're going to do downhill is speed up towards a hazard before you go for the brake. You want to be in the habit of coming off the gas when you see a problem, or going to the brake when you see a problem, and using the clutch when it's needed. This is an occasion when you don't want the clutch down. Let's say I'm going left at the end of the road here, so mirror signal left. I'll slow down now and get the clutch down so the car doesn't stall. And I will check to see if anyone's coming. No one's coming. And now I'll get first gear. Now I'll get the gas and the bite point whilst I'm in the road. You don't want the clutch down as you cross the give way line, because as you could see there, I'd made my decision to go, and then I got my car prepared to go, which means there's a delay between me deciding to go and actually going. And I did that in a quiet area there because I was pretty sure it wouldn't be a problem. But if you're on a busy roundabout and you come up to the roundabout and you think, right, I can go right now, clutch or gear, or just the clutch on its own, that's too much. That means your observation's getting old, your decision's getting old, and you don't want to be doing your clutch control after the giveaway line in the roundabout. Get that ready before the giveaway line. I'm going to fast forward now and show you how I should do it. Okay, coming up to that same junction again, going left again, centre left mirror, left signal. I'm going to get my speed down. Can't really see what's going on here, so I'm going to get it down to a nice slow walking speed, clutch down, and get first gear, get my gas ready, get near the bite point, looks clear, looks safe, bite point, and then cross the line. So I've got my clutch done and up before I cross the giveaway line. You will fail your test if you keep coasting, or if you have the clutch down as you cross the giveaway line. You won't necessarily fail it straight away. It's not an automatic fail, but if the examiner thinks that that is causing danger, for example, you're taking too long in the junction because you're doing your clutch control after the giveaway line in the new road as opposed to in the safety of the previous road, they will fail you. And leaving the clutch up for as long as much as possible, will make you a smoother driver. Not only because you won't be pressing the clutch down and lifting it back up without needing to, you didn't need to change gears, so you didn't need to press the clutch down, but also because when you change gear or change down gear when your engine speed is really low, say close to 1,000, when you lift the clutch up, there is not much rev matching for your clutch to do, so you don't have to pause on the bite point very long. But if you change down a gear when you're at 2,000 RPM, when you lift the clutch up, your clutch has got a lot more rev matching to do, so you're going to have to hold it there a lot longer, which is much harder for a newer driver to do. You could press the gas to help the clutch rev match, but that's quite tricky for a new driver. It's also a good tactic when you're a new driver to do this, because it will make you smoother more quickly, which will increase your confidence more quickly, which will help you learn to drive more quickly. So when should you press the clutch down during the emergency stop? Well, it doesn't really matter too much. Even if you stall the car, you will still pass your driving test. Although we would rather you don't stall the car, it's not our highest priority. Our highest priority is you to stop the car as quickly as you possibly can. It's important for you to understand ABS and the differences between cars with ABS and without ABS, but this is not an emergency stop video. But for the emergency stop, the clutch should come down just before the car stops, or if you want, you can press the clutch and brake down together at the same time, which is my preferred method in a car with ABS, because when you brake hard with ABS and your clutch is up, your engine and wheels are connected, and your ABS system starts and stops your wheels pretty rapidly. And if your engine and wheels are connected, your engine is going to start and stop quite rapidly too, which in my eyes puts a lot of strain on the engine. So therefore, I'd rather the engine be disconnected and let it go down to idle whilst the wheels and the ABS system do their job. And as this car does so many emergency stops, it's quite sensible for me to think of that. in an emergency, in a real emergency, you're going to panic anyway, and pressing both those pedals as hard as you can in a car with ABS is probably one of the better things you can do. If you haven't got a car with ABS, you need to practice your emergency stops. But even if you practiced it, to be honest with you, it's an emergency. You probably would panic and hit the brake as hard as you could anyway, which is why ABS has been compulsory since 2004 in the EU. And if you look at the deaths on our roads, since 2004, deaths have more than halved. And it's mostly the cars, not us. If you're practicing without an instructor, make sure you have insurance. Get £20 off via the link in the description to Collingwood, who provides specialist learner insurance that allows you to practice in a friend or family member's car without risking their no claims bonus. If you want to insure your own car, click on the link to confused.com. I have found that they have the widest selection of cheap insurers for young drivers. And of course, the clutch needs to go down when you want to change up gears. But you knew that one anyway. So to summarise, the clutch should come down when the engine speed is close to its minimum, which is normally around 1000 RPM. If you don't have a rev counter, listen to the engine when it sounds like it's near its minimum. If you know what that sound is, that's when the clutch needs to come down. Push the clutch down when you want to go down gears and when you want to go up gears. And during the emergency stop, you can push it down whenever you like, basically, as long as it comes down before you finish your stop so you don't stall. But if you do stall, it's not the end of the world. If you think this video helps you, give me a like and subscribe to get my future videos. Until the next one, cheerio.